All right, we are going to go check out What the Car. It's a physical comedy game. I'm ready to check it out and have a bunch of laughs. I'm Nathan, and we're over here playing What the Car with Sarah, the community manager. We just had the demo, and it was quite unhinged. One of probably the most creative things that we played here, honestly. It's definitely going to leave a lasting impression on me. I just wanted to ask you, comedy and games, what kind of comedy are you going for, and like why games as a medium?
So we call ourselves a comedy game studio. So we kind of design almost with the metric of like laughs per minute, and it's very much in the forefront of our minds about like how can we make games that are not just fun but funny. And the first game that we had out was called What the Golf, which we call it like the golf game made by people who hate golf or don't know anything about golf. And then the second game we made was called What the Bat, which is a VR game where you have bats for hands and just need to do like normal everyday stuff like making toast or putting your laundry out to dry and stuff like that. And we set up with this intention of making games that were just like created these like comedic moments for people, and especially like physical comedy is something that we think is really fun. And then the third one, we were like, let's make a racing game, even though we don't know anything about cars because we're from Denmark and people just bike everywhere. And that's kind of how we were like, yeah, this is a normal car. This is what normal cars do, and kind of leaning into this like absurdity and yeah, where can we get the laughs from people?
I was playing it, I was noticing like most of the laughs from me came from just the sheer like audacity of like, what is this car doing? And yeah, like I didn't get that context before, but you guys really don't know how cars work at all, apparently. But no, there were so many different unique mechanics that just in the demo alone that I like tried like at least like 10 to 20, and even like what did you use to draw inspiration for these different types of mechanics in each level?
So in the game, we have these different biomes that we call episodes instead. And that's part of where we kind of build the perspective sometimes of like what are the situations we can put car in. We established it's a car with legs, he's silly, he's goofy, he can do whatever he wants. And then kind of explore from that, like, okay, so in the normal world, this running, jumping world, he's like, what are all the different jump running mechanics we can come up with him using his legs or not using his legs in some cases. And then we have like a sports world and an office world, because of course the car has to go to work or whatever. And come up with these perspectives of like, okay, now we're going to put him in some silly situations and how can we like adapt him to that and make mechanics build around that. But sometimes we also go pun first. We make the joke first and then we make the car shape after that.
Was the accordion one of those?
Yeah.
I had a feeling. And also, when I was playing, I noticed like on the side, there's like collectibles. There's not trophies, but crowns or times. So, are you trying to cater towards like also a more like hardcore community?
We kind of like to say, even though it's very ambitious, that we make games for everyone. So the idea that like both kids and adults can play this and have fun with it, that it kind of spans the kind of like cheeky wink wink humor that like adults can see in the puns, but also that kids can play it and have fun. And it's kind of the same thing with like appealing to both completionists and like people who want to go out of the way to find secrets and very inspired by like Mario and like those kinds of collectathons in some way, but also just having like the plain fun of if you just go from levels from A to B, that still feels fun and engaging to do. So playing it in either way and kind of gaining the playtime based on if you want to go back to do the challenges, do it faster or find the secret or something.
Yeah, as someone who's like definitely a completionist, I think you nailed it. Yeah, every time, no matter how many times I died. And then I also want to ask, were there any games that were like kind of inspired you guys to go with this comedy route, or like games that you just want to shout out?
So being in the comedy sphere, of course, we like notice other like funny games that get a lot of inspiration. We've definitely been inspired by like things like classic ones like Katamari, Untitled Goose Game, Goat Simulator. But just this year, I've been so impressed with like all the different kinds of games that popped up in this kind of like comedy genre. Little Kitty, Big City, Just Grow Things, and also from the same publisher as Untitled Goose Game, the Thank Goodness You're Here, where it's just like little crazy characters out on a cookie time and being a menace to society. And we think a car would be friends with all of them. Yeah, so that's I love those games. Another thing about like the random appeal that we find to the games, other than like it kind of appeals to a crowd that we didn't really expect that it would appeal to. Like we kind of anticipated that everyone could enjoy this, but we're really surprised and excited that so many kids can play this. And it's kind of a theme that we found in some of our other games. When we made the VR game with What the Bat, and we made it just with like the kind of the joke of like what would be a silly, absurd way of approaching everyday life and having just bats for hands. We were really surprised when we heard back from people who have different disabilities that they kind of found that as like a representation in some way, other than just having like serious, heavy games that are like approaching that topic in that kind of way. Having something where it's more lighthearted but still like appreciative of the kind of struggle or the humor in like the kinds of situations you'd find yourself in, making that approachable in a very different way. And we're just really happy to hear back from people say that that meant something to them, even though we just didn't anticipate that at all.
It shows the difficulty of like if you didn't have fully hands. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Like also the games can like kind of bridge that gap in a way. Yeah.
And for someone like me who doesn't really know how to drive, that this can be very approachable to me in a different way.
I assure you, driving is nothing like this game.
What?
Well, so thank you so much for your time in answering all my questions. The demo is great. Really looking forward to it. Do you have a release date?
Yes, it comes out on September 9th, which from now is a week from now. So it's just around the corner.
All right. Well, you guys probably this video will probably be out afterward. Yeah. But thank you so much. I'm really bad at the ending part.